Welcome back, everyone. I'm Bethany Ricciardi, and we're still out here at the Alpena County Regional Airport talking about new upgrades, operations, and different things like that. And I'm here with Steve Smigelski, the airport manager. So Steve, would you say one of the biggest upcoming projects is the terminal?
The biggest project is the terminal. This is something that we had to clear everything else out of the way for so that any of the grant money could be utilized for building the new terminal. Currently, our terminal was built in the 1950s and it's 6,000 square feet. What we're going to get at the end of this process is a brand new state-of-the-art facility that's going to be 18,000 square feet.
Totally new renovation?
Totally new.
Oh, wow. So who are you working with this? How is it going to look when when it's finally done?
Our S&H is our engineering firm. They're the ones that are going to be taking care of all the design aspects for us. And the pictures that I've seen so far, it's going to be completely glass facade. It's not going to be an old brick structure. So it'll be new, it'll be modern, it'll take advantage of natural light. We'll have new heat that comes up through the floor instead of the old forced air system, LED lighting. So it sounds like a lot of money to put up a new terminal, but the savings and what we're going to get from electricity and the HVAC system, it's all going to be worth it in the end.
What is the need for this? Like right now, would you say that the terminal isn't big enough for the operations that you have going on here?
No, the terminal, as I said, it's the flower of 1950s technology, and with the TSA security requirements alone, the place is just horribly undersized. Another problem that we're going to face very shortly is the Canadair CRJ-200 jets are going to be retired. Those are the 50-seaters that come in for us now.
Right.
The new jets are going to be 70-seat jets.
Wow.
And they sit up too high to use a boarding ladder. So we absolutely have to have a passenger boarding bridge, or we're probably going to be going out of the airline business, at least for jet traffic.
So what will it look like here? I know you mentioned you're tearing that down.
Now, that's the old Welch hangar. That one was built back in the 70s, I believe it was. That hangar is going to go, and the new terminal will be built on that site, and it will probably extend another 80 feet into the current parking lot. So you can see where all the parking lots have to be relayed, all new utility is going to have to be run. This terminal, once everything is all done and we have the ribbon cutting there, this one's going to be demolished to make room for more parking yet. So everything's going to look different.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have a timeline for this at all? How are you working around that?
Working with the FAA, we're going to be approved for the design. So the design is going to take place in fiscal year 2017, which starts October 1st. So that's going to probably take about 9 to 11 months to do all the design work. Then we'll probably have the groundbreaking in fiscal year 2018 with a ribbon cutting in fiscal year 2019.
Awesome. So not too far away if you think about it.
No. And time really is of the essence, because there's talk that the RJ-200s might be retired in 5 years. So this isn't just some sort of boastful project. This is a gotta have if we're going to stay in the modern jet traffic.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead inside and check out the terminal you currently have.
Okay.
All right. So what would you say one of the busiest times is in the terminal? Are there busier times than others, or?
We just hit our peak travel season right now, and that's going to run June to August. And then it picks up again in November and December, of course, for the holidays. So the rest of the time we keep a fairly steady flow, but of course January and February, the only people leaving are going to Florida.
So it must play a big impact having 4 seasons here in Michigan. Do you think there's benefits as well as disadvantages or anything like that with the 4 seasons?
There's always an advantage to having 4 seasons. First of all, you get more tourist traffic, because people love to snowmobile just as much as some people love to dive on the wrecks. So the fact that we have these different seasons brings people in, and a lot of them use the airport.
So where are we right now? This looks like kind of maybe like a waiting area, maybe where a family would bring their family member and drop them off.
This is what they technically refer to as a meter greeter area.
Okay.
Yes. As you can see, the checkpoint cuts in quite a bit into what used to be the old meter greeter area. they were having trouble getting the airliners loaded quickly because they have a limited amount of time that they can be on the ground. So they had to expand the checkpoint. Unfortunately, given the size of the terminal, no matter what they did, it was going to have a terrible impact on the floor space. So this is why we have this spacious walkway when you come in. And the first thing that you would come to would be the Avis counter here, where Mr. Procopi runs his business.
Rent a car type thing, or and then behind us is where you do the check-in bags and things like that?
Yeah, this is where you'd come in, check in, drop your bags, and your TSA experience begins.
So would you say that the security checkpoint is a good size? Does it work for the terminal as of right now?
It's better than what it was because in the old security checkpoint, you could only fit like 10 people in it at a time, which that's what was slowing down the boarding process. Now you can fit 50 people in there. Unfortunately, there's no bathrooms in there. So everybody likes to wait until the last minute before they go in, which can lead to aircraft delays because now TSA is under pressure to try to check everybody through rapidly.
So would you say that, or could you say one of the biggest things when the FAA came in here and kind of did an evaluation, was there anything that really stuck out to them that they were eager to change?
Well, probably the biggest thing that shocked them was the way that the baggage had to be handled. Because when we go over to the airline side, you'll have an opportunity to see where the bags come in and out of the building and where the TSA screening begins. So security was a huge issue to them. And this is probably one of the oldest terminals in the state of Michigan.
Oh, wow.
And it's not really a terminal. It's been called a building that we use as a terminal. I believe I would go along with that description.
Yeah, because it almost just doesn't have that feel like, you know, it's all one, you know, which could also bring some benefits, you know.
Well, initially it was two separate buildings.
Oh, wow.
The center section here was built in the 90s to bridge the two sections, but all your old HVAC and such is still in the 1950s side, and you're trying to pump air from that system into the new system, and more often than not, we don't keep up very well.
So big or small, why do you think having an airport in our county is important and beneficial overall?
Oh, economic impact is tremendous. Especially Alpena is still a very good industrial city. We have a lot of tourism. With an airport, you have easy access in and out. If you don't have an access like an airport, a lot of communities like Alpena have withered and died because they don't have the easy in and out aspect.
So how is it working with the county? I know you work with the commissioners a lot, in addition to your partnership with the base. How is it working with different aspects of the community?
Well, when I retired out of the military after 34 years, I was a little on the scared side to see what the civilian side would look like. I can say that there's just as much on one side as the other as far as red tape goes. Everybody has their own procedures. I will say that the county commissioners, especially the airport committee, they've really taken a trust in me, and we are really working hard to try to improve things out here, and they're on board with the changes.
Awesome. And I know sometimes in the community you hear the bad over the good, but how is it working with the residents and feedback from them?
Well, any of the negative feedback that comes from the residents is completely understandable. Most of their complaints center around the facility itself, which nobody can argue that we do need a better facility. One of the problems that we had was our flight schedule. Our last flight schedule was terrible. Now with the new schedule where we have a 5:30 a.m. departure, the plane comes back from Detroit at 1 and then leaves again at 1:40. And then anybody traveling in from the west, they have all day to make their connections back to Detroit because the plane doesn't come back to Alpena until 10 p.m.
So it seems like people are kind of grasping that schedule too by now, right?
Yes,
Awesome.
yeah. It's definitely picking up in popularity and in numbers.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. And don't go anywhere, and you don't go anywhere, because we will be right back with more.